This is one of the greatest defensive teams that we've seen in NBA history. I've never seen a team with all of their guys, top through bottom, that are great defensively in isolation. Those guys are locked in.
We're over here chopping it up, Bert. I told Channing that I've been to Portland 5 times to hang out with him. And he was like, what? And then he was like, no, you haven't. You've been here like once. And then I start naming all the times. He's like, well, that was in 2009. That was in 2012. That was it. Like, damn, bro, I'm just saying how many times I've been out to kick it with my guy. I don't recall getting an invite. I haven't got an invite.
I invited him to my lake house, and he said no.
This is why. This is how the conversation started. The conversation started. He started shitting on like not going to Allie's lake house.
Allie, where is your lake house located?
Oh, but bitch, like Portland is fucking in the like
it's a top 12 city in America.
Perk,
it's a top 12 city.
Perk, if I invited you and your family to my lake house, would you come?
Damn right.
Yeah.
You know damn well Perk can't swim.
What?
But he got that pontoon boat. That pontoon boat.
Did you say you're a whale?
I'm a whale in the water, bro.
Okay, let's bring it up. We're diving right in. Welcome to this edition of Road Trippin. Channing Frye, Richard Jefferson, Kendrick Perkins. I'm Allie Clifton. And before we dive into all things basketball, Perk just referenced himself as a whale in the water. Perk, can you please address this for the people on the internet?
Perk, I had your back. I said this shit was photoshopped. I was like, I just saw Perk. That's photoshopped.
That was a bad angle.
Yeah, I was like, Perk ain't that big, bro. I just saw him.
I'm not that damn big, but
no.
I am big. But that was Photoshop.
That's Photoshop. I was like, I had Perk. They made now. Stephen A. is little. He's itty bitty. He's itty bitty. He itty bitty little dude. He is petite. We don't like. I think petite is not the right word. It's more of like delicate.
I can't stand people with camera phones. Can I say something real quick?
Yes,
please.
Uh-oh. So I was on the internet today just scrolling, right?
As one does.
And I saw something when my name was brought up on another show, right? And it was brought up by one of Richard's old teammates, good guy, good friend of mine, Kenyon Martin.
Uh-oh.
And they were discussing
I'm not getting between that furniture.
The teams, it's not a fight. It's just a little
grown man, healthy conversation.
Yeah. And they were discussing whether or not this Oklahoma City Thunder team was better than our 2012 Thunder team. Right? And I already said this maybe like 2.5, 3 weeks ago, that I feel like this team that they have right now is actually better because they have more depth, right? They have more depth. And we're not, so we have to go back in time and really think about the James Harden 6 Man of the Year. He wasn't the MVP type James Harden yet, right? So if they was to match up, they got guys that could really, really kind of lock in. Yeah. And I just think overall their defense would take them over the top. But then I don't mind being criticized or critiqued, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. But then Kenyon was like, well, Perk would be a liability. Hold on 1 second, brother. Liability. Let me give you some facts. Okay.
Back them up.
Let me give you some facts when it comes to throwing out that word of liability. The Oklahoma City Thunder never went to the NBA Finals until Kendrick Perkins arrived on that team because they couldn't get past the Lakers, who had the Twin Towers and Andrew Bynum and Paul Gasol. Okay, that's number one.
They were a problem.
Now let's talk about that finals run. All right. In that finals run, Kendrick Perkins, the first round, had the assignment of guarding Dirk Nowitzki, which we swept them, right? One-on-one, Dirk Nowitzki, go put up the tape, had them frustrated, everything. Second round, Paul Gasol and Andrew Bynum, go look at those numbers, go look at what they did and what they didn't do. They did absolutely nothing. Then you want to get to the Western Conference Final. Guess who had to guard the greatest power forward of all time by himself?
Channing Frye.
Mr. Kendrick Perkins. Guess what adjustments we made during that time when we were down 0-2? We switched everything. And you can go find the film of me guarding and locking up Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili. Locking them up. Go watch game 3. And I was talking shit to Steve Kerr because he said I should have been out of the rotation, who was doing the play-by-play at the time. Get to the NBA Finals, go pull it up again. A few double-doubles in there. So my thing is, if you're going to say something, at least have the facts. And the reason I bring that up is because if I was able to hold my own and defend Dirk, Paul Gasol, and Tim Duncan, I damn sure wouldn't have had a problem with Isaiah Hartenstein, Chet Holmgren, and Jalen Williams. That's what I wanted to.
Okay, now let me step in here real quick. Perk, love the receipts. Kenyon, I'm talking directly to you, my brother.
I'm not talking to him.
No. Kenyon's my brother. I'm talking directly to Kenyon.
Okay.
Perk, no. Perk makes some good points here, my brother. I didn't know he was going to start with this. I didn't know he was going to start with this, but he makes some valid points. Now, if you were saying that, with that team liability, again, there's revisionist history, what we remember, stuff like that, especially how people are at the end of their career. The last 5 years of my career, I averaged probably a total of like 6 points a game. But if you go look at the first 12 years of my career, you know what I'm saying, that is closer to 17, right? So it's like when you start to get to those, like again, so if Kenyon, I know Kenyon to be a person, if he is found that the receipts prove him to be wrong, Kenyon will own up to it. That's the type of man he is. And if he thinks, like, if he goes back and watches the tapes and sees some bullshit, he might stand by his opinion even more. So guess we're going to find out. We wait your answer, Kenyon.
One thing's for sure, Perk has receipts. And when you're talking about facts, to bring it back, that is a Photoshop, because I did watch the two of you on NBA Today. And after seeing that go viral yesterday, to then seeing the two of you sitting next to each other, you're almost damn near the same size.
Now look, calm down. Calm down.
Hold on.
Now listen, this is the funny thing.
Alley on that yak.
That's why we started calling him Big Perk the Plug.
Love you, Perk.
Right? That's why we call him Big Perk.
Can we talk
the Plug.
about that? Because when you call him Big Perk the Plug and Mike and Doris have no clue what you're talking about, that is hilarious.
There's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of that. Like Mike and Doris, amazing, right? It is truly an honor to be sitting next to them. It is like, if you want to call games, to sit next to them is like the dream. Like you hear his voice and you hear him. Yeah, I'm mad that these games ain't close enough, so we can't get him, to get a bang out there. That's why I want to be sitting next to the man when he says it. But like, there's always a beat. I say something and then there's a beat. And then they turn and look at me and start laughing. It is never like right away. I don't know what I said the other day. I said something about Anthony Edwards, or I also said Minnesota. I go, Minnesota's defense is tough. It wears on you, but it's like Novocaine. Give it time. It'll work. And they're just kind of like, because, you're in the game and they're like, what? But it made sense to him. Like, dude, give it time. It'll work.
If you would have allowed it to breathe last night when you called Big Perk the Plug, but you went right into a replay reaction, it would have been so silent, because I was like, oh, he just dropped that. But then you had
they have no idea. Anytime I get a chance to refer to Big Perk the Plug, that is his new name. I'm starting it. I am starting the name. I have put it out there multiple times. Big Perk
They already
the Plug.
have pictures of him as Big Perk the Plug.
I'm just telling you, that's my guy. Did
you see that one, Perk? Channing commented on that on Twitter. Did you see that one?
I didn't see that.
They got that one too?
We all got that tagged. It's a good one. We're all tagged in it. It's funny.
I'll go find it.
So as Channing finds that, let's transition this now into obviously Western Conference Finals Game 1, kind of a recap. However, we shall start with the NBA naming Shai Gilgeous-Alexander the MVP of this season. And it brings up a great debate. Shout out and of course, congratulations to Shai. We'll get into that conversation in a moment. However, our crew behind the scenes sent me some facts that I would like to kind of give you guys some trivia. Since 1956 to 2019, do you know how many players, non-American, won the MVP award? From 1956 to 2019, if you could guess.
The 2019, I think there was...
From 56 to 2019.
Why don't we just count them out?
No.
I'm gonna say 12.
No, less than that. Steve, less than that. Steve Nash.
Steve, Dirk.
Twice.
Dirk. Hakeem Olajuwon.
Yep.
Twice.
Olajuwon is once.
Once.
He won once.
Oh, Giannis?
No.
That is it.
That's it.
That is it. From 56 to 2019, there were 4 different players, 5 awards.
No, to 19. She said to 19. But
To
then since then,
19. Okay.
Oh.
From 2018 to 2025, where we currently are, not one American player has won the award.
Well, first of all, let's be clear.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Embiid played for the United States of America.
Let's talk about it. What is this saying? How do you guys digest that?
How do we digest it? This is the shit we've been talking about. Why do you think I got a bronze medal in the Olympics? It's a fucking global game. It's a global game now. It's hard as shit. And you got other countries playing it at a much more efficient level than we do. It is an American sport that we started. Dr. James Naismith, I said it since I was in college. Thank God for Dr. Naismith. All of us have these jobs and all of us have this money and it's changed our lives. Thank God for him. But the rest of the world is playing the game. And they are playing the game from how do we teach the game? How do we give people the proper skill level, right? If you think about Brazilians in soccer, you think about the French, the way they teach, like the way they teach football and why America is behind, the skill level of their youth before they even get, 8, 10, 12. That's why the greatest soccer players come from Brazil and from France and from England. It's like the way they train is far different than the way we train over here.
I agree 1,000%.
It's not even about the athletes. People say, well, if LeBron James plays soccer. No, that's not what this is. It's the way they train. And that's why they consistently do it. It's not just that it's a popular sport. The way we train here in America, on top of, you add in the capitalism aspect of it from like the NIL and to the colleges, and you can only work out with your coaches 3 hours, or 2 hours a day, and that's the max you could. They cap this. Meanwhile, other countries have kids in academies at 15 years old practicing twice a day, every fucking day. You're in Europe. If you go play in Europe, you practice twice a day, every single day except for game days. Twice a day.
And you only play one time a week. Quick story, and then I'll give it to Shannon. One time a week, Shannon. Okay.
No.
Channing. Okay.
It doesn't even sound right when you say it right. So
I'm gonna say it wrong. I'm gonna give it to Shannon. All right, here's the thing, right? My middle son had a teammate. His name was Dax Mitchell. Okay. Now he was in the 4th grade. His dad worked at a refinery, and they end up having to move because the dad got a promotion. And when you're in the refinery industry, you go overseas for 3 or 4 years, and when you come back, you really, really at the top. But it's like that sacrifice part. So they moved to the Netherlands, right? And the first thing he called me and said was that I see why overseas players are more advanced and more ready than Americans. And I said, well, what you mean? He said, while we're sitting here every single weekend chasing AAU tournaments, they practice 2 times a day for an entire week. They play 1 time a week on a Saturday, 4 10-minute quarters, and that's it. Most of the time, they are training. They are training and they're training and they're training. We, on the other hand, we think, oh, AAU basketball,
5 games on a Saturday and
yeah,
6 games on a Sunday.
and so just to piggyback and like on Richard's point, he's absolutely correct. Like I heard this, and he was like, my guy whose name is like Dale, his dad, he was like, oh, I'm never moving back to the United States until my son is ready to go because I'm getting the best for him. So just
real quick, Chan, real quick, I want to add one more thing to Perk, then you go. Why do you think so many NBA players' sons are making it? Right? And I think that you're seeing more and more because NBA players, like, and again, this has been a long thing, but NBA players are looking at the way basketball is being taught and they're like, fuck that. We're not, no. How many players do you see whose parents played the game? You look at like a Derek Lively and his mom played basketball. And it's not even like division. It doesn't even have to be like professional. But it's because they're seeing how this is being taught and they recognize quickly, like, no, we have experience in this. We know this is how it needs to be taught. So those kids now get this double advantage. Like, I know how to train you, or I know how to teach you the game because what you're being taught on the AAU level is not. That's why they say the worst parents of kids at sports are the ones that never played sports. The ones who played Division I, Division II, any sort of thing, those parents are always the most calm, for the most part, the most chill, except for Perk, and JJ, who get thrown out of games. But for the most part, those parents that aren't coaching are more chill, right? They know how to teach their kids the proper steps versus like, I want my kid to go shoot threes when he's 8 years old and he's got this crazy form because it's like, no, I told little Rich, do not shoot threes. I don't care. Like, you at the park with your friends, do not shoot threes. Now he's 10 and now he can shoot threes and now his form looks proper, right? And even now I can tell his younger brother, who's 8, is like, hey buddy, do you see how your brother wasn't shooting threes at 8? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, you're not strong enough. You shouldn't be doing that. But you see how he can make threes at 10? And it's like, yes. It's like there's a proper level and a form. There's smaller basketballs, and then as you get older, they're bigger because you give kids a smaller basketball so they're not having to launch it. So it's not as heavy. So there's so many things that are just lost in, like, we're going to do dribbling drills and teach people how to full court press at 9 years old. It's like, what the? I took my kids out of that. Once I saw they spent an hour of practice full court pressing and learning how to break a press, which is something that's irrelevant once you get to 14 years old. Why are you spending time doing that? So these people can say, we went 42-9 last summer. It's fucking insane. It is the worst part of basketball I've ever seen in my entire life. It's disgusting. I'm disgusted by it, man. I didn't know until I walked in. It was like, that wasn't even what the fuck we had. Right?
So 3 things I try to tell parents that I talk to, and we have buddies who are obviously NBA head coaches, NBA assistant coaches, NBA GMs, college head coaches, college assistants, high school. So I ask all around because you know what? Like, I got a certain motor from the NBA of like timelines, right? And that timeline is you got to get as good as you can get every single day, no matter what, right? But the expectation for these kids nowadays is your parents pay for a trainer, and the trainer tells your parents, yeah, your kid's going to go D1, just work out with me. But then that kid might not grow, or that kid might be slow developing. And now that kid mentally, let's say he makes JV for 2 years. He's a freshman and sophomore, makes JV. That kid in his mind's thinking, I failed. And I try to tell parents, his development is not necessarily where he is, but how he approaches every single day. And I said, you know, we're at an 8th grade tournament, and these parents, some of these other parents of other schools are like hardcore. And I go, do y'all think there are coaches here?
Yes.
Like, college coaches have enough budget to recruit their own players, to recruit the portal players, and to recruit top 100 seniors or JUCO players. So unless you are a top 50 senior, 75, maybe even 100, you ain't getting a lot of coaches to go see you. So
not in
no
eighth
one
grade,
cares.
not in eighth grade, ninth
No,
grade.
not in 8th grade, not in 9th grade, not in 10th grade, unless you are that good. So for me, and then I'll be quick about this. One, be patient with your kids. Be
Please.
patient with them. Teach them the complete game. And that is as simple as it is. Overseas, they teach you how to move without the ball. I'll watch these kids do a workout. These fuckers dribble the ball the whole time. And when they go in the game, they don't know spacing. They don't know how to sprint the court. They don't know how to set a screen. Do you know what's the best thing now? I told my daughter Margot, she's 12, about to be 13. She plays 3-on-3. It's the fucking
3-on-3
best.
is the best
It's
basketball.
the best. It is the best. Everyone
That's
learns
all
how
we
to
did.
pass,
Do you remember
screen,
Hoop It Up,
cut.
Gus Macker? Remember the Hoop It Up? So
Yes.
there was 3-on-3.
The
There were
Jesus
more
freaks always
yes,
won.
yeah. So there was more 3-on-3 tournaments. That's especially on the West Coast where Channing and I grew up. I don't know about Texas or Ohio, but there was always 3-on-3 tournaments, right? I did it at the NBA Jam. NBA Jam in Phoenix, Arizona, when they had the All-Star game in '94, they had a 3-on-3 contest inside the convention center that was a part of like the NBA whole thing.
Everybody participated in
That
it.
shit was awesome.
That
But 3-on-3 basketball teaches you to move without the ball. It teaches you to pass and cut. Me and my best friends would have like plays. We made up our own plays, like a give and go. Like that's what we were going, like just things like that. But basketball is being taught so wrong here in America, right? It's being taught, and that's why you see more athletes, not just professionals, but Division I parents that have experience of like that's not how you teach basketball, right? But we're also the most calm. One dad asked me, he's like, Richard, how are you so calm, like at all these games? I just sit back and kind of smile, laugh, because I'm like, because no one's losing a job, because no one's gaining a scholarship. No one's here to watch them other than their parents. The only thing I asked my son after the game was, did you have fun?
Did you get
I don't
sweaty?
care if you won. Did you have fun? That's it.
Can I say this?
Please.
No.
And then we're gonna pivot off this because we just went on a rant about
that because that shit puts me in a bad state of mind. It pisses me off. But here's the thing. Who is going to be the next American basketball player to bring the trophy, the MVP trophy, back to the crib? I mean, damn.
That's a great question.
Who is going to be the one? Well, that's shoot. The last people that were taught basketball the right way, their era is ending.
That's
LeBron,
actually crazy.
like LeBron.
No,
Steph,
but what I'm
KD,
saying,
I'm saying last era, you can see the era gap.
All I'm saying is, y'all, we could because of JT injury, then we can't depend on him. We can't. He's not gonna be up for it next year.
I got two names.
Go ahead.
Two names. Jalen Brunson for sure next year, for sure.
He will be,
and Anthony Edwards. And here's my sleeper.
Ooh, I like sleepers.
This is a hot take, but if they get the right, there's
a lot
them.
of ifs and ands. There's a lot of come on now.
Imagine if Orlando was top 3.
Paulo's a bad boy now. Now Paulo could be the I can
Those
see
are
that.
the three.
Maybe not now. Maybe not now.
But he's not American.
Cade.
Paulo, if you were born in America, I don't think that's his.
He's from Washington.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Carl Anthony Towns, he's Dominican, but he's born in Jersey.
Oh, fucking tell me he played for somebody else.
Okay, replace him with Cade Cunningham.
Okay, now we talking about something.
K the bad man.
Wait, who did Paolo play for? Because according to Wikipedia and Google, he is born in Seattle, Washington, and is an American professional basketball player playing for the Orlando Magic.
His parents. I think his parents might. There, I don't.
I think they're like Puerto Rican or something.
Yeah.
Paolo, that's Brazilian.
No, bro, we're not going by names. Okay, anyways.
We'll figure that one out. However, the one thing that can be said is I'm glad that you take one of the most prestigious awards in sports for a professional sport, I guess, if you will, and transition it all the way back to the foundation where it starts as children. Only the three of you can find a way to do that and do it successfully, because I think that was a great rant that you just went on when we're talking about the MVP of this year. I think it's amazing. I'm complimenting all three of you.
It starts as children.
Yes.
But he balled out this year.
Congratulations.
Good as Jokic was.
Shai. Wait.
Yes.
Let's talk about Shai.
Yeah.
We had the opportunity to interview Shai. please, can we start giving this man the love that he deserves? He is the chillest. If he was playing in any other market than Oklahoma City, it would have already been over. It would have already been over. The way he plays, the way he dominates, the consistency. He's been first team All NBA the last 3 years. Like, yes, and he's got one of the youngest teams in the NBA around him. So he doesn't have, so his leadership is something that should be applauded. His leadership, the way he talks to his teammates, the way he talks about him. I asked him about Chet Holmgren, and I was like, hey, you pride yourself on trying to be a leader, and how do you look at Chet? Because I think Chet is like one of the, he's got one of those chances. And he was like, you know what? Chet, I try and give Chet as much space as possible, because how many 7-footers can do a pull-up, do a hook shot, roll and catch a lob, go around the back? Like, he's like, Chet does so much and he works so hard. These are his words. He goes, he works so hard that in a game, I try and give him as much space to figure out the game for himself and give him guidance, right? This is the MVP talking like this. This dude, we talk about faces of the league.
Hey, if you come to the arena, practice facility, from the equipment manager on up, anybody, and you ask them about SGA, they love him. He's not Hollywood. Yes, he got the swag.
He got the swag. He got the aura.
Yeah, he got the aura.
But that's not for TV, because I've interviewed him a couple times. I've seen him come off a bus where his whole team's wearing uniform, like OKC uniform shit. This dude dresses like Jordan Clarkson. Like, Jordan Clarkson ain't wearing team issued shit, even if it's a 30-minute flight. It's just his swag.
It's just his
he remembers your name every time. He's like, yo, what's going on? He'll talk to you like it's, yes.
Bro, guess what, y'all? He joined Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Come on now.
3 fucking straight years of averaging 30 and shooting over 50%. People, I don't think, like, let that sink in for a minute.
Half of your shots you shoot, you make, and you average 30 against the best players in the world, and you won 68 fucking games.
That's guarding
68 games.
Contested.
You almost won 70 games with the best players in the world guarding you, and you make half of your shots. And
so here's what people are going to say.
Your second best player is still on his rookie contract.
Yeah.
Your second and third best. Go ahead, Channing.
They're going to talk about him fouling. But here's what I noticed. I
got something for you. I got something for you. Go ahead.
Here's what I'm saying.
I got something for you.
If I drive in a game, if I drive the ball, and we're going to use easy numbers, 10 times, right? And I get fouled twice, okay? And Shai drives the ball 30 times, but goes to the line, I don't know, these aren't good numbers, maybe like 8 or 6 or 10 or 12. Those numbers are equal. Shai is overly aggressive. His skill set is consistently aggressive, getting to the rack, getting into people's bodies. What I've noticed is whether he gets those calls or not, he's going to play that way the whole game. So that is just how he plays.
Ali, I got it. I want to tell you this. I've done 1 million interviews. We've done 1 million on this podcast. We've been in locker rooms with Hall of Famers. Shai is one of the most impressive people that I've ever talked to. And it's not, so we do the whole, we doing the interview, and I go to ask him, I'm like, so there's a lot of conversation about, and he smiles so big. He goes, I love it. And I'm like, so, I was like, he's like, oh, the free throws? He's like, yeah. But he's like, and this is again, the cerebral, like, he says it with a smile, which is so engaging to Channing everybody's point. He goes, what's crazy about it is that he said 2 years ago, I averaged almost 11 free throws a game, but we finished 10th and no one cared. Now I'm averaging 9 free throws. So I'm averaging less free throws than I did then. And now he goes, it just means that they care. He's like, when I wasn't sending their best favorite player home, when I wasn't sending their team home, then no one cared that I was shooting 11 free throws a night and scoring this amount of points. Now that I'm doing it and I'm averaging 9 free throws, the whole world is exploding about it. He's like, I love it. It just means they're thinking about me. So all of the conversation and all the people that are upset know that this man loves it. He smiles when he talks about it. That to me is the type of sickos that we love. Like, keep complaining. Stop me. Just like, but like you guys, he goes, I know it's misguided because no one cared when we were the 10th seed and I was shooting 11. Now that we're the 1 seed and I'm shooting 9, everybody is all up in arms. He goes, I love it. And he ain't stopping.
And guess what? He shouldn't fucking stop. And no one should be complaining, because I could remember that we actually applauded superstars for getting to the free throw line.
Yes.
So let's not, like, to the world, let's not fucking act like Cole, God rest his soul, didn't sell calls to get to the free throw line.
For sure.
Let's not act like LeBron, D-Wade, Paul Pierce, Dirk, the list goes on. And if you want to go to today's game, let's not fucking act like Jokic and Luka. They don't sell to get to the free throw line. When your shot is not falling, greats find a way to get to the free throw line. So
okay, how about this? Wait, Perk, I got this for you, right? I averaged, in my 4th year, I averaged 8 free throws a game. In my 5th year, I averaged 7. And then in my 7.4, and then I averaged 8.3 free throws. I averaged 8.3 free throws because I was.
I hate when you would go in there just flopping.
Yeah, see, he's saying the same shit. But I'm saying though, Shai averaged 9 free throws. I'm telling you, as an individual that averaged 8 free throws and scored 20 points in a game, like, you're putting your body on the line. Look how mad Channing's getting right now. Because I was just a bowling ball. I'm like, fuck it, let's go. Like, that's how we gonna eat.
The head
like,
was aerodynamic.
Yo, I'm telling you.
Case in point, where's the line of like respecting a player's ability to get there and just people just hating on it?
I don't give a shit. I'm going
because
to
there's someone in the Eastern Conference Finals as well that you can have this conversation about.
Yes, the best players do.
The greats do it. The greats do it. You have to. You can't. There's one dude in the NBA who scores, who does not flop, who does not. There's one dude who does not go in there foul baiting. And that's the dude who be fucking you up when he goes in there. And that's Giannis. That's the only dude. Hey, listen. Giannis is like offensive foul or nothing, motherfucker. But like everyone else has to.
Can you leave the dog noises to Perk? He's the only one that knows how to do that.
That was just a growl. That's not a dog.
Have you seen Perk's dogs? They're little.
They're like the two of you. You two are puppies and he's the fucking dog. Have you heard him bark?
We don't want no puppies.
So listen, look, Shai's averaging 9. I average like 8 and change multiple times.
Are you saying you should be an MVP?
By no means. I am not even on his level. I'm saying is that I know the mental focus that it takes to attack like that every single night. And then after a while, the referees are just used to blowing the whistle once you drive it in there because everyone's always fouling. What you want me to do? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep going. Stop me.
Okay, I have 2 points to wrap up this conversation before we get into the overall matchup and just your guys' overreaction that we all like to call it because it was only game 1. Paolo Banchero, back to that really quick because I think we need to obviously clear this up. His mother is of African-American descent. His father is of Italian descent. So, Perk, to your point, he received Italian citizenship in 2020 because of his Italian heritage. And he played for Team USA FIBA at the World Cup, but he initially considered playing for Italy. So that is I learn something new every day. Also, before we'll start with you, Channing, just on your take after game 1, but we do want to show you this picture, Perk, Big Perk the plug. This is what everyone is having you be portrayed as. It's on there.
Yeah, that's Big Perk the plug. That's Big Perk the plug.
Look, I don't have a problem with it, but can I at least have a lineup?
Yeah, that's.
Zoom in. It's actually good.
Just like a lineup. Everything else I'm cool with, but just a lineup. You know what I'm saying?
What's wrong with that lineup?
I know you are sweaty in that velour suit, though. I know that. Them things, Sean John joints was hella hot.
I'm dead. I cannot.
I got that picture y'all just said. That is about to be, you know what? That's what I'm putting as my profile picture.
Wait, is that your area code 214 too?
No, that's Dallas. My area code is 713.
Would you put 713 right above your belly button?
I don't know. Absolutely not. And like the only person that like get tattoos around their body is people who plan on walking around with their shirt off. I'm not one of them.
No. Thank God.
That's my next bet with you. That is my next bet with you.
Fuck you, Shannon.
All right. We've heard Rich and Perk. They've had to talk all day long. Channing, I want your thoughts. We'll start with you.
On the OKC, Minnesota?
Game 1, yeah.
So I just felt like OKC's defense, I feel like, and this goes without being said, even though I'm about to say it, is like having a guy like Alex Caruso, a plug and play guy, is fucking unreal.
He's so
and
good.
Dude, and I got to play with Alex when he was going back and forth for a little bit from the Lakers and the G League. And I was like, yo, this dude is good. And like, but he just kept learning. And you look at any team that's good, you need that guy. Like for us, it was Delly, right? You could look at a guy like Delly, and you look at the Pacers, and they have T.J. McConnell, and you look at like the Knicks, they have a Josh Hart. And I was on the radio for Cleveland, and I said, who's that guy for Cleveland, right? And Minnesota has like, they have like 2 or 3 of them, but they're 6'11" black dudes, so it's a little different than naming, like some undersized white dude. But to me, those dudes, like Alex Caruso, Isaiah Joe, they are such stars in their roles that they're not worried about the moment because they just get to be the best version of themselves because of SGA's leadership, because Jalen Williams is locked in now in this series early on. I think Chet is physically, he's going to have a hard series because Julius Randle is a bull in a china shop, but I still think he's making a big effect. I think OKC's defense sped up the others for Minnesota, which is all they want to do, and they couldn't get their rhythm. Nas Reed looked out of sorts. Obviously, Nickeil Alexander-Walker looked out of sorts. Golly, I mean, basically everybody except
everyone.
Yeah. And so I don't know if it's going to go like that every game, but I think OKC needs to continually turn up that pressure, continue to watch film, and if they do that, it's going to be tough for Minnesota to get in a rhythm. But I think Minnesota still snags 2 games out of this.
First, let's start here. This is one of the greatest defensive teams that we've seen in NBA history. It's not when it comes to Oklahoma City, Shannon, and I get your point, it's not they got to continue to turn it up. No, they turns up every single game defensively. Like, people's like, you got to protect the ball when you play against the Thunder. You cannot let them get out in transition. No. You don't get that option because they force turnovers. Like, they have this thing, and y'all know this, like, how many times y'all didn't heard y'all coaches say, hey, y'all, let's be solid. Let's be disciplined. Don't gamble. OKC gambles like a motherfucker, and they comes up with the steal. It's like they're tied together on a string of like gambling defensively, but they know that they could gamble because somebody behind them has their back. And I've never seen no shit like that in my life. Like, that's where they turn up at. And I'm sitting up here watching these guys. I'm watching Jalen Williams. He gets at least 2 of them a game where he just like leaves the guy from the corner, and who's ever at the elbow with the ball, he just comes from behind and just steal the damn ball. Luke Dortz, he just randomly goes and traps so aggressively that nobody gives a fuck if it's part of the defensive scheme because he's doing it with force. I've never seen a team with all of their guys, top to bottom, that are great defensively in isolation. This is what we're watching right now. Those guys are locked in. Here's another thing. You just spoke on Isaiah Joe, the kid Kenrick Williams. Both of those guys, Isaiah Joe didn't even play in Game 6 and Game 7, right? Like, We're talking about a young group that has really lost themselves in the team. No agendas. They're happy for everybody's success. We watch Aaron Wiggins get minutes here. Jalen Williams, who did an outstanding job on Jokic, he didn't get minutes last night. And here's another thing. People are saying this, and I got to go early, y'all. I'm sorry, because I got a flight to catch. Let me say this to y'all. If Jokic struggled 5 out of 7 games in that series, Jokic only had 2 games where he was dominant. The rest of those games, he struggled in that 7-game series. And everybody's like, oh, well, what does Anthony Edwards got to do? What is he going to do? He ain't going to do a damn thing.
Well,
Because-
let's what we're gonna see. No, I know, Perk. I agree. I'm not.
No. But hear me out. What I'm saying is not a knock on Ant-Man. Ant-Man is my favorite fucking player in the NBA. It's just me giving the credit to Oklahoma City. It's like, bro, unless you're coming down, unless you go get hot 8 for 10 from the 3-point line, it is going to be hard as hell for him to get into that paint. I don't give a shit what you talking about. It's going to be hard.
Perk, you like when you said that, and I was having that conversation. James Jones, I saw Champ last night. Shout out Champ and Shump. So, because I know not everybody knows basketball, and some people are in their 20s, but 25 years ago, when I was a rookie, we had the #1 defense. My second year, we had the #1 defense. Now, we went to the NBA Finals. I couldn't shoot. Jason Kidd couldn't shoot. Kenneth Martin, that's my guy. He sure as hell couldn't shoot. And Jason Collins couldn't shoot. How did we have 4 starters that could not shoot make it to the finals? Because of a #1 defense, and all we did was run, turn you over, and try and get layups.
Oh,
Those boys run for layups. They play elite defense. We played against the 04 Pistons, that elite defensive team.
Ugh.
We were up 3-2, lost in 7 to them.
Ooh.
It was 2 defenses. The scores, Ali checked the scores. Like, no one scored over 100 points. We played against those San Antonio Spurs team in the finals, that elite defensive team. Young Tim Duncan, old David Robinson, young Manu, young Tony, young Bruce Bowen. Elite defensive team. They remind me so much of those teams. There is no lie, Perk. There is no lie. That is, when I was watching them, that's what I took from the game. I'm watching them. I'm like, these boys remind me when, like, it would be Chauncey Rip, Lindsey Hunter up in your body. They got defensive bigs that are blocking shots, scrambling, guarding multiple positions, covering for each other. That to me was the most impressive and sure of themselves that they looked in the postseason.
yeah. It's the details in their defense, right? Like the smaller guys always swipe. Oh, you have to go?
Richard, I'm sorry, but I got to catch a flight back to Houston.
Bye.
I mean, you're the mayor, so you can. I've heard you're the mayor there in OKC.
Well, I didn't give myself
Don't they have
that.
a private jet? Don't they have a private jet for you?
No. Just through the airport. You know what I'm saying? It's a 30-minute flight. You know, I got to get home. You know, one of my babies getting an award, so I want to make it home to go see that. You know what I'm saying?
You're a good father, Perk.
What?
Get your ass out of here, Perk. We're fine.
Yeah.
Hey,
Why you apologize?
Hey, it's Big Perk the plug.
Big Perk the plug.
Bye, Perk. Okay, Channing, continue.
Yeah, I was saying OKC's defense, right? And I keep referencing the chance I had to talk to Mark Daignault. And he was like, we don't necessarily have set rules for like the team. It's the group that's out there. So like if they're playing with a bigger group, you notice the smaller guys always go for steals so that the big picks it up sooner and has to throw. Like they've worked on, hey, when this guy turns his back, give me the signal. I'll play 2. I'll go for the swipe. And you know he's going to throw it because he's uncomfortable. But the point is, and what their defense does, and you can see, nobody can play basketball without thinking. Like any of you, great scorers play basketball without thinking. They're feeling like, I know this is coming, or I know that's coming. The fact that you put 6'5" Caruso on Jokic, knowing that, remember we said, and Randall, fronting them so that because nobody practices this pass, the overhead pass. And then also look who's behind you. You got all these dudes stealing the ball behind you and pressure on the ball. It's like, wait, why don't people front the ball? Because it's hard. And because it takes effort and communication. And the fact that they could throw this in now during the Western Conference Finals has been pretty crazy. I know JJ and the Lakers did it early, but this team is doing it and they're actually doing it. And so I'm just impressed with their continuity, their ability to communicate who's on the court for what, and what they're willing to give up versus, what they try to take away is pretty awesome. So, but I still think Minnesota comes back. I think Minnesota wins game 2.
Yes, I think Minnesota wins. I think I'm just saying the same way they always tell players don't overreact to stay even keel. The media does the complete opposite. The media does the complete opposite. So the media oftentimes does the opposite of what us as players are trained to do. So I'm not going to overreact high. I'm not going to overreact low. They look very impressive. Minnesota, I think even if they had one guy, look, this is what their bench, and they have one of the best benches. Naz Reid, one for 11. I don't believe Naz Reid is going to have many of those games. No. Dante DiVincenzo, 3 for 4, 3 from 12. Don't think he's going to have many of those games. 3 for 11, 2 for 9 for Nickeil Alexander-Walker, right? So when I look at those numbers, I'm like, if one of those guys plays average, if 2 of those guys play average, this game's a little bit different. And I'm not saying OKC can't get better because Shai struggled in the first half. I just think that there'll be a more balanced, competitive game.
For sure.
Before we wrap up this conversation, we are going to take a pause, but back to the free throw conversation. I saw this as you guys were talking. Our guy, Jason Gallagher, just tweeted this out. Most free throws attempted by an MVP since 2000. Do you know where Shai ends up on that list?
What do you mean? Number, like, what do you mean? Since
what
2000?
number? Where he ranks on that list in terms of
since 2000, because you know who won the MVP in 2000 was fucking Shaq.
Like, he's 12th on that list.
What do you mean?
With 8.8 free throws attempted.
That's what I'm saying.
And MVP. Joel is at the top, 11.7.
That's what I'm saying.
Shaq is second in 99
2000. I told you. I fucking remember guarding that motherfucker. Not me. I wasn't Caruso.
I went LeBron, Allen Iverson, Harden.
Hey, listen. Say what you want about these players. Like, we can all sit here and say that Jokic is on his way to looking like a top 10, top 15 player of all time. Caruso wasn't guarding Shaq.
No.
No.
Who did he? Oh, he was guarding Jokic though.
He was guarding Jokic, and Jokic is heavy. Jokic is a monster. He wasn't guarding Shaq.
Congratulations, SGA.
You know who was guarding Shaq? A fucking Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah, that's about it. A minivan.
All right. Obviously, this is going to come out probably during the game. So I just want a quick preview. The Eastern Conference Finals begins today with Game 1. Knicks Pacers. Thoughts on the overall series without obviously being too detailed because Game 1 will have started?
Go ahead, Jenny.
You're in New York. Are you going to go walk the streets?
Oh, dude, I already got me a chopped cheese.
Are you in New York?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
They need to clean your windows. God.
How many free throws this year does Shai average?
8.8. What do you think, Channing?
I think this is probably the most evenly matched 2 teams, except for 2 things. I think New York's starters are better than Indiana's starters. But I think Indiana's bench is better than New York's bench, obviously, which is going to come up in every series. I think if Jalen Brunson can get into the paint, get 2 feet into the paint, and get good shots, and get the Knicks defense set, they can win this series. I think it still goes 7. And I think if Indiana, if you can get the Knicks in a rotation and attack Brunson like they were doing and Cat like they were doing last series more consistently, I think that's Indiana's advantage. But, is OG going to win his matchup? Is Mikal Bridges going to win his matchup? Like, who's Brunson going to guard? Just the way their system is based. And then also the way that they play that 5-out system, Cat's going to be in rotation, then drive and kick a lot like what the Pacers did to the Cavs. Ooh,
Are you
burpee.
okay, bro? Are you?
Yeah, I had a little burp.
It's not even from like a bailing out space, but it's just like this is such a series that you want to see. I think obviously Perk had his thoughts about the Cavs, and you look at the last two teams left on both sides, the amount of toughness that you see collectively as teams, especially from the Pacers, collectively, bunch of dogs. That's what everybody says. And then you go look at the Knicks, just the hyper competitive people, just collectively. So it's like I'm really curious to see which one is going to break. What do I think? I think Jalen Brunson is going to be Jalen Brunson. I think they're going to need to get good games from Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby because that Indiana Pacers offense, it has a burst ability, and they're playing much better defense or more intense defense. They're picking up full court. And look, while Jalen Brunson is a bad man, I'm not disputing that. The backcourt, Ty Jerome completely like he was not even they had to stop playing him by the end. Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland, they struggled to get the ball like inbounds and across the court just from the constant pressure. And that's not what teams typically do. So to see how Jalen Brunson, who I know can handle it, but what does that do over a 7-game series, right? That's what we got to wait and see. I can tell you my opinion, but my opinion don't mean shit based off of what these dudes are going to do. I didn't think the Cavs were going to lose. I didn't think the Celtics were going to lose, right? Yeah. And so it's like these teams play a different style of basketball. If you look at the last 4 teams left, analytics don't necessarily favor the way they play, right? Analytics don't like when we start talking about teams shooting 53s, how many teams have won? How many teams are winning games when they're shooting 45, 53s? It's just not happening currently right now.
I just think you're shooting based on analytics, not based on the best shot possible. Like that last game with the Celtics, you were like, why are y'all shooting that? You were just like, because they need to, that's how they get their rhythm. So if somebody takes that away.
Channing, would you say that analytics cost Boston those first 2 games? You lose by 2 and you shoot 50 something threes and you only lose by 2. If you would have just played basketball the normal way as best shot possible, they would have won those 2 games. That's statistically proven, right? If you miss those shots, even if you shoot a better percentage inside of 3, if you take 20 of those shots away, 15 of those shot attempts away, move them in the paint. If they make 5 of those, if they make 3 of those, and that's an extreme low number. If we're talking analytics, they win those games. That's 6 points. That's 8 points that they would get if they wouldn't have missed all of those threes.
I just feel like, the teams that rely on threes like that so much, that's their rhythm. But when you're playing good defensive teams, Boston's a drive kick team. But when you're playing a really good defensive team, there ain't no drive and kick. It's you're swinging it around the perimeter and just and you're getting the itch. You're like, I need to shoot some more. And everyone's used to shooting 10 a game. So now you're taking your guys that should be taking 6 good shots are taking 7 to 8 okay shots, maybe 10.
Do you guys have a prediction for the series?
Nope.
Thanks.
I hope it goes 7. I do and I don't because I got to be here the whole time. But
don't walk out. Don't walk outside by yourself.
Why? Don't do that. Be careful. It's dangerous in them streets. You saw what happened to Wendy.
Yeah, dude, I'm fine.
Yeah, he's a former Knick.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. Oh, are you saying the Knicks love you?
No.
Do the Knicks fans love you?
No, sometimes. They ask me why I don't give them as much love, and here's the real reason. One, we were very bad when I was here. We were very bad. And I said this online.
Yes, you were. Like, we used to whoop y'all ass.
Shut up. And that was one of my biggest regrets, that we weren't as good as we were supposed to be. And then also, it's just been such a long time ago. I played 5 years in Phoenix. I obviously won a chip in Cleveland, and I live in Portland. And so just the connection is there. Like, I always root for the Knicks. The Knicks being good is great for the NBA. But like, Jamal Crawford comes here. He's just more connected. He played here longer. Nate Robinson, those kind of guys, give them the love. I'll love the Knicks from afar and always be appreciative of my time. But yeah, we were doo-doo when I was here.
Okay, we're going to end on this one. Okay. I don't know if you guys saw this, but a ban of the push-tush play that the Philadelphia Eagles popularized did not receive enough votes at today's league meetings in Minneapolis, which means the play remains alive. Okay.
Oh, stop
there will
it.
be more tush pushes this season. Is there a player action in the NBA that deserves as much attention, debate, or outright ban in your eyes? It can be on court, it could be off court, like the tush push.
I have one that I used to excuse me, that used to piss me off. There is not as bad as a tush push. But when you're chasing a guy off a screen, and like, let's say it used to be Rip and Reggie used to do it, but when they grab when the guy that's setting the screen, they'll grab their own man and use him to curl over his body, basically bringing their own, like the guy that's screening, they'll grab his body and like curl. Well, what it does is it turns that screen into an illegal screen, right? But it's never called because their teammates push him. I'm getting real minute in detail in some basketball shit. But that's like when you see guys that are constantly doing curls, Rip Hamilton, Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, they would always grab the screener and then chase, and it turns into an illegal screen. That's my random, stupid basketball, I'm a nerd thing. That's the one play that would always drive me nuts.
What is that play called?
No, it's just a curl screen.
They would call it like power 2, power 3.
Yeah, it's just like a double. Yeah, just a double pin down.
Something cool like a tush push.
No, the tush push wasn't even around until 5 years ago. Football's been around 100 years, and they just figured this fucking play out. So, I ain't got nothing.
Do you have one?
No, I hated the Chicago cut when people were running a triangle, and like a big guard like Derek Fisher would screen for you, and you couldn't run over him because he would flop, but he was strong enough to get underneath your hip. I used to be like, man, fuck this. And then a big ass dude like Pau Gasol curls, and they just throw it up to him, and this is how I felt, and he would just go like this. You're like, how the hell? You can't go underneath the screen. You can't go over it. It was
so they should get rid of it. They should get rid of it.
Well, they did. Yeah, they did, because nobody runs a triangle anymore.
Speaking of flop, we'll end on this. Isn't this funny? Look what NBA players got the youth doing today.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that. We have the same algorithm, Allie.
Yeah.
Get out of my brain.
Yeah, I don't think and that's why we start off this podcast with, when is another American going to play basketball, or win the MVP? It's like, we not teaching that shit. We're not teaching that. If my son did that, I would have an issue.
Having said that, let's roll out on Big Perk the Plug. It is now his new avatar. It's another shot for you guys to look at. And for those of you that are listening on the audio side, don't forget we have a YouTube channel. We would like for you to subscribe. It's called Road Trippin. And you'll see this fine, handsome man with his area code tatted above his belly button.
You see his areolas and his area code.
Oh, God.
Jesus. God, Richard.
Bye.
I feel like the two of you could do that. The two of you could rock that.
No.
Love you guys.
No.